Yo, what's good guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. So today we're reacting to Geography Now, Brazil. Uh, Brazil is cool. Brazil is cool for sure. Uh, I think I don't know if it's famous for, is it drugs? Or was that Mexico? I don't know, but cartels. That's what I know it for, really. But yeah, we're gonna see some cool, we're gonna learn some cool stuff about Brazil. Yeah, if you're new, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, let's watch.
Hey Geography peeps, so Brazil is one of the largest countries in the world. Obviously, I won't be able to cover everything within about 10 minutes. I'll try to do my best, but in the meantime,
How big is Brazil?
soccer, monkeys, Amazon, Ronaldo, and samba songs, capoeira, anacondas, carnival, and attractive...
Oh, Ronaldo's from here. I like Ronaldo.
Come on, guys,
I like Ronaldo. I like Ronaldo.
It's time to learn geography now!
Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. I guess that's a thing now. And after weeks of anticipation, we finally finished the Brazil video. And you know how we start these things. Let's dissect the flag.
Okay.
The flag of Brazil has a green field with a yellow rhombus in the middle and a blue disc in the center with 27 stars scattered throughout the disc and the country's motto depicted on a white band sprawled across the blue disc. Some people might tell you that the green represents forests and yellow represents gold, but yeah, that's not really true. The green and yellow are actually inspired from the former imperial flag of Brazil, which was derived from two royal households, the green representing the House of Braganza for King Dom Pedro I, and the yellow for the House of Habsburg that his wife Maria Leopoldina came from. The blue disc and the stars are what make up the most fun part of this flag. Each star represents one of the 27 states of Brazil. Furthermore, they are all separated into 9 different constellations.
Yeah, I don't know, all these flags are really never original. Like, most flags have stars nowadays, and it's all for, like, look at the US flag, like 13 stars. Is it 13 stars? I think 51 or 50, something like that. Yeah, this stars thing, I never really noticed this on the Brazilian flag. That's cool, I guess.
We see in the southern hemisphere.
I should have had like my own country, to be honest.
Progresso, which means order and progress. A flag with stars representing each state in the country. Ah, Brazil. I think there's some people that can gel well with that.
I just said.
Now here's where things get a little fun, because each section of Brazil kind of has its own little story. But first, Brazil is the largest country in the South American continent. If you grew up in Latin America, you would have been told that...
Oh, I'm tripping. I didn't... Oh, that's... Wow, I haven't been studying geography. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't peep. That's how big Brazil is. Look at this again. Yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Yeah, that's huge. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. Why am I surprised? Why am I surprised? Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know what I thought Brazil would be small. Yeah, I was tripping, man. But yeah, that's huge now that I just realized. Wow. Was it always this big? I don't know. It just looks bigger for some reason, but yeah.
Continents. If you grew up in Latin America, you would have been told that both South and North America are together one continent, but for pragmatic definitional reasons, we're just going to treat South America as a separate entity, as its own continent. Brazil's domain stretches all the way from the Atlantic coast and deep into the interior of the continent. Brazil is bordered by every
people don't even
South
consider
country except for Ecuador and
South
Chile.
America,
to
be
Brazil
honest.
France. Why? Because of this little guy, French Guiana. That's right, this is not a country, but rather an overseas territory of France. It's okay. Raise your hand if you just learned that. You're learning. The country's capital is
actually, no, I knew that.
I
knew that.
Slightly inland in the central west region
wow,
of Brazil.
So
it actually administers itself in its own federal district, much like Washington, D.C. Brasilia was actually built in 1960 as they were switching from the old capital, Rio de Janeiro. That's right, it's pronounced Rio
it looks
de
like
Janeiro,
Twin Towers.
Rio de Janeiro. Get it right, we're not in Mexico. This is Portuguese, not Spanish. This was done in an attempt to provide a more regional neutrality for the rest of the states in Brazil by centralizing the capital. Brazil is divided into 27 federative units, 26 of which are states and 1 federal district, which is where the capital resides. Each state and region of Brazil has their own unique flavor that they bring to the table.
Where's Messi from? I mean, Ronaldo.
But essentially, it kind of goes like this. We grow food. We got all the money. We are so black. We are so white. Stop cutting our trees. In terms of disputes, Brazil has 2 disputed areas with Bolivia.
Oh, sometimes I'm forgetting some of these Mexicans, not Mexicans, what? Some of these Brazilians be looking black, like, that's crazy. I don't know how I don't know. I don't know how they do it, but some of them just look darker than the others. I don't know if it's the sun, because I never seen dark white people. That's just that's just funny to me. But yeah, that's, I don't know how. I think it's I think they might actually be black though. They might just have black ancestors.
On the Mamore River, and two disputed areas with Uruguay on
Brazil
the Uruguay
has slaves,
River
right?
and the Masoyera
I
Rivera
think so.
that nobody cares about. Funny backstory, Uruguay actually used to be part of Brazil, known as the Cisplatina province, yada yada yada. There was a war, they gained their independence. Brazil has a ton of islands off their coast, but the furthest reaches of the Brazilian domain would have to be the 4 island and archipelago chains in the Atlantic: Fernando de Noronha, the Rocas Atoll, the St. Peter and St. Paul Rocks,
all
which
of
is a
them have Spanish
non-permanent
names.
residence science lab station, and Trindade and Martin Vaz. Otherwise, the western mainland borders look kind of funny. If you look at the map, it kind of looks like Brazil has river Tourette syndrome, in which they have a lot of half rivers, but then they jump onto the next adjacent river, which is like a couple hundred kilometers away. It's like, I'll take part of the Rio Acre, but then, I'll cut through and make my way over to the Rio Puros. I'll take the Rio Santa Rosa, but then, I'll jump over to Rio Breu. This all had to do with centuries of disputes with the former empires, and today you have this massive piece of sovereign complexity. And that's just the border.
Who's the president of Brazil, anyways?
When you think of Brazil, everybody just kind of automatically defaults to one image: the Amazon. And yes, the Amazon is a very imperative factor to the nation's
It's
movement.
in
However,
Brazil?
there's a lot more to it in terms of landscape and terrain.
Wow,
First of all,
sound
about
dumb
60%
today,
of
honestly.
the entire Amazon rainforest is located in Brazil, mostly in the region, and of
Whoa!
course, no surprise.
I'm not even gonna lie. Yo, did I ever learn about Brazil? The Amazon. Yikes, man. Yeah, am I having a bad day today? I don't remember the Amazon forest being in Brazil. I could have sworn it was in some other country, not Brazil. Yo, that's crazy. That is so crazy. But yeah, yeah, I like this. I don't know. So one day I was just talking to some random people, and I was like, I'm into Amazonians. I think those are like the natives who live in these forests. But I saw some documentaries. They look kind of cool. They're just like, yeah, can I say cavemen? Nah, they don't look like monkeys, but they live in the same kind of way. They live in caves. They hunt. I hope I was right. I hope I'm not tripping
Consists
again.
of the most heavily compact ecoregion on Earth. Out of all the 10 million species of animals and insects known to human beings, about half of them call the Amazon rainforest home. Many of the species that have yet to be discovered are still lingering about in the deep, uncharted depths of the Amazon today. Now, we all know that there's a huge deforestation problem going on in Brazil in the Amazon to provide more agricultural land. However, even Brazil's own citizens are harshly criticizing the action. It's a little tricky though, because with Brazil's rapidly growing population, more resources are demanded of the people. So it's kind of like, we get it, it's bad, but I mean, what do you want us to do? Our country is growing and we need to provide you people with more stuff. Use alternative methods! Like what? We're working on it! Otherwise, outside of the Amazon, the rest of the country has a vast array of contrasting scenery almost equally as fascinating. Along the coast, you have the Mata Atlântica, or the Atlantic Forest, the Cerrado, or the tropical savannas in the center.
Wow,
this is
this
also the area
country's
where
all
most farms and ranches
forests.
can be found. Also, keep in mind, Brazil is one of the top countries in meat production and exports. In the south, you have the Araucaria, or the pine evergreen forest.
Yo, this is all
You have the
forest.
small mountains, especially close to the border of Venezuela, in which
Oh,
you can find one of the most
where's the
notable
beach? I used to hear Brazil has beaches. There's a lot of like beautiful women. Like, it's crazy. Like, I don't see any of that right now. Yeah. Oh, and they're known for, is it plastic surgery? Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of girls walking around with fake butts. That's crazy. Yeah, but Brazil, I think I'll mess with Brazil, but it looks all forests. Yeah. I think it's the way he's showing it. There's definitely some cool cities though. Come on, show the beaches. Show the Brazilians, man. Come on.
Natural landmarks being the tri-point border between Venezuela, Guyana, and Brazil, Mount Roraima, even though Brazil only owns about 5% of the mountain, but still, it counts. Roraima is one of the strangest looking flat-top plateau mountains with vertical cliffs almost perpendicular to the ground.
Looks like cake.
Earning the label as one of the hardest mountains to climb. Fun side note, Mount Roraima was one of the areas that inspired the scenery for the Pixar movie Up, which is a great movie. By the way, go ahead, watch it. And with that said, Pixar and Disney, you can't...
Oh, the old dude dies, right?
...for using a clip of your movie in my corner box here because in accordance with fair use limitation rights, I commented and
my fault.
material.
Oh, did I just spoil it? Yeah, but I think the old dude dies. I just did it again. That's crazy, but yeah, R.I.P. him, I guess. But yeah, I think I should rewatch that. It was kind of sad, I think.
You know, you can't sue me. One of the most remarkably bizarre and unusual spots of the country, though, would have to be the famous flooded deserts of Lençóis Maranhenses. This place, located
in
the
deserts
coast
too?
of the Maranhão state, is almost alien-like, as there
looks
are
like
virtually
snow.
no places like it on Earth. Essentially, it's a sand dune desert with abundant lagoons speckled throughout the entire region. Although it gets a lot of rainfall yearly, the area supports little vegetation and wildlife. Nonetheless, the area draws in thousands of tourists yearly as it contains the almost paradoxical juxtaposition of elements in its scenery. It's not every day that you see a flooded desert. All right, let's talk about the Brazilian people.
Ah, there we go, finally. Wait, they look Asian.
Biscoito, bolacha, biscoito, bolacha. Yeah, we'll explain what that means in a little bit. But first, now of course Brazil is incredibly diverse, but before we get into that little pie graph thingamajiglet that we always do here in the demographics section, I feel like it's very crucial to mention one important thing about Brazil's people. Now, everybody knows that one of the most dramatically unique traits of Brazil would have to be its people. When asked what do you think a Brazilian looks like, the stereotype is somebody with a perfectly bronzed, toned body and with slight Germanic features.
I just imagine like a Hispanic guy or a girl.
Is because in a strange way it's kind of true. Over the course of a few hundred years since colonization, Brazil's population has actually virtually invented an entirely new race that never exactly existed before, and it makes up nearly half of the entire population. I'm talking about Pardo people. Now, although the definition is vague and up for relative dispute, essentially this is the easiest way I can describe it. Pardo people are kind of like people that are either too white to be black or too black to be white, and there's probably a little bit of Amerindian in there. That being said, now let's jump into the pie graph. Brazil has about 202 million people, making it the fifth most in the world, right behind Indonesia.
Yo, that's crazy.
47% of the people identify as white, about 43% identify as Pardo, about 8% are black, 1.5 Asian, and a very small portion, about 0.5% of the population, are Amerindian. Speaking of Asians, at about 1.5 million strong, Brazil is actually the country with the largest Japanese population outside of Japan. About 70% of whom live in the city of Sao Paulo. Asians have actually historically been migrating to Brazil for centuries. In terms of socio-regional distinctions, Brazil has quite the buffet of ethnic enclaves. For one, you can typically find more black people in the north, and especially in the Bahia state, where they make up over half of the entire population. This is also the area where you can disputably find some of the best capoeira masters in the world, as it is believed to have originated in this area. In the south, and more specifically in the Rio Grande do Sul state, you have one of the largest white populations in the entire country, with immigrants coming from places.
That's kind of ironic. It's almost like America back in the days. North accepts black people, south is just all white people. That's crazy. Yeah, all these guys. Yeah, I think I never really got the like, oh, I'm Hispanic, like that's my race. I don't even think, is that a race? I don't know. Cause yeah, as long as you look white, I think you're white. That's how it should be, really. But yeah, 48% of these mixed guys, though. That's pretty big. That's a pretty big number. Hey, but if that's how it is, I'd be like, yo, I'm mixed too. Cause all you just gotta do is speak Spanish, bro. Like you're sweet. I don't think just speak Spanish and you're sweet. Or do they speak Portuguese? Is it? They said Ronaldo's from here, so they better bring
like Germany, Italy, and the Netherlands. In fact, many of these places have remained relatively untouched by the rest of Brazil, and many of the communities still retain the mother language of the country the members of the community came from. Oh, and there's a joke in Brazil that nobody has met anybody from the state of Acre. It's so far and secluded that you may as well just call it North Bolivia. It's mine, Brazil! Nope, too bad. We won it in the war. It's still ours. Deal with it. And of course, you have the various native tribal groups. There are about 240 tribes that a little over 900,000 people claim to be a part of ethnic group. The
That's
government has recognized
crazy.
690 territories and reservations for these various people groups that make up about 13% of the entire country's landmass, nearly all of it localized in the Amazon rainforest. Brazil's governmental agency for tribal peoples has a list of about 80 uncontacted tribal groups that deliberately choose to remain disconnected from the rest of the world. The governmental agency speculates that there are still many unnamed, undiscovered tribes currently living in the vast, uncharted forests of the Amazon. Culture-wise,
I told you, bro, caveman.
in Brazil, but everybody knows that Brazil kind of has a very vibrant way that they carry themselves out to the rest of the world. The center of culture, disputably, being Rio de Janeiro, and the economic capital.
Oh yeah.
Most of the population lives
Okay.
within driving distance of the coasts, so there is, in a sense, a prevalent beach culture, especially
beach.
for the
Okay, there we go.
country. Not everybody in Brazil loves soccer. In fact, many places prefer basketball, and skateboarding has actually been a huge thing that's been exploding over the past few years.
That's not a
No,
sport.
not everybody has been to a carnival. Oh, and another thing, there's currently a war going on in Brazil. It's been very brutal. It's been going on for decades, and it's getting quite intense right now. I'm talking about the cookie war. In Brazil, people will ridicule you if you pronounce the word for cookie differently from them, and especially it's a whole Rio versus Sao Paulo thing. People in Sao Paulo will call it bolacha, and the people in Rio will call it biscoito. This conflict has led to the violence and deaths, leading in the victimization of people caught in the crossfire. And you almost fell for it, didn't you? Now
Oh, it was
let's
a
talk about
joke?
their relationships.
Oh, I think it was a joke. Okay, man.
Now,
I was
Brazil
about
kind of gets
to.
along with everyone, but he's kind of like that friend that ventures off and does whatever he wants while you wait in the hallway until he comes back from doing whatever he's doing. First off, pretty much all of their neighbor nations get along with them, although Argentina has a huge competitive hatred for Brazil when it comes to soccer.
Is that where
But all
Messi's
that
from?
aside, they have good relations and trade policies. Then, just like mentioned before the Angola video, they get along with other nations of the former Portuguese Empire like Angola, Mozambique, Sao Tome and Principe, Cabo Verde, and so on. They
Mozambique
even get along with
isn't
Portugal
African?
and have no bitterness towards the former colonization. Now, when it comes to the US, for centuries they've been good friends and have a deep history of trade and alliances. However, recently Brazil has been kind of diddle-doddling off, making friends with other people that kind of give the US the old shifty eye. Then we have Venezuela and Cuba. Brazil has sided with the Venezuelan government more in the past few decades and has built a $1.5 billion port in Cuba. Then we have Iran. Recently, Brazil has been testing the waters on attempting to build ties with them, although they haven't really improved much recently. Nonetheless, Brazil is quite the popular guy. Not many people dislike Brazil, except for maybe the Brazilians in Brazil that may complain about their own country's administrative affairs, but that's a lesson you'll have to learn by talking to an actual Brazilian person, not me. Plus, we're almost out of time. In
I
conclusion,
don't think
Brazil is so
okay.
much more than just the Amazon.
No, so where's
We
Ronaldo?
can even scratch the surface of
Is he even from
Brazil.
Brazil?
And to find out more, I recommend just talk to a Brazilian. Just remember which side of the cookie you're on.
Oh
Stay
yeah.
tuned. Brunei is coming up next.
Yeah, I think he lied to me. He said it's Ronaldo. I don't know why I like Ronaldo. I don't even know where he's from. I think is it Spain? Is it Spain? Shoot, I don't even know. But yeah, Brazil is cool. Definitely. I like Brazil. I think I still like Brazil. It's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I probably forgot the size. That's why I got surprised. But like, I know what was going on. I like the beach though. That's the area I'd want to go to. I'm not really like, yo, let's go to the tribes. Nah, I'm not that kind of guy. Beaches, bro, to see like the girls, bro, to see like, it's cool. Yeah, but if you made it this far, thank you and have a nice day.